thank you for joining me today. We're going to be doing a sequence for strong and healthy pelvic floor muscles, and this is geared towards anybody in their second trimester of pregnancy. So the one thing that you will need is something to sit on. It can be a folded up towel or a blanket, whatever you can find around the house. And go ahead and grab what you need, and let's go ahead and get started. If you don't have time to watch this video right now, go ahead and save for later and just do the sequence whenever you get a chance. So I'm actually setting up at the wall today, and go ahead and make sure that you have a nice generous fold of whatever prop that you have so that you have more height, and you can just go ahead and sit right up against the wall. And I actually forgot to mention that you will need a block. If you don't have one, go ahead and grab an extra towel or just something that you can squeeze in between your legs whenever we get to that part. So grab what you need and let's settle in. So let's go ahead and start just in this Sukhasana, this easy pose. It's a great place to do proper breathing, and it's a great spot to just get really comfortable with the pelvic floor muscles and what we really need to be doing. So to start, go ahead and just let's ground into our body a little more and really anchor into our practice. So you can just close your eyes and relax your shoulders as you lengthen through the spine. And immediately when you lengthen through the spine, the abdominal muscles engage automatically. It's a really healthy thing to get into the habit of doing. So just lengthening that spine and rooting down through the sit bones. Go and close your eyes and let your jaw rest, feeling space in between your mouth. Just starting to settle in, bringing attention to the parts of your body that are connected to where you're sitting and drawing that attention up and in. And just take a few breaths without trying to control your breathing. Really notice what's going on. Just feeling a little more anchored when we begin our breathing. You can open your eyes. All right, so let's get started with our breathing. So I did a video on preventing diastasis recti, and we're going to do something very similar. So I like to begin with this before we kind of move into the core muscles more. And so what happens in our second trimester especially is these rectus abdominis muscles, they start to spread a little bit. And so the more mindful we can be about really bringing these muscles together and keeping them strong, the better. And it very much ties into strong and healthy pelvic floor muscles. So what I'd like you to do is always on your inhale, when you're practicing this, you relax. And on your exhale is when you really engage the muscles more. So let's go ahead and start on an inhale, relaxing. And on the exhale, I want you to feel like the sides of your body are moving towards each other and in towards the spine. Go ahead and bring your hands onto your stomach. Relax on the inhale. On the exhale, bringing these muscles in towards each other, drawing the abdominals in towards the spine. You can drop your hands if you want. Go ahead and do this about 5 times. On the exhale, really engaging those muscles, drawing the abdomen in. You're not going to hurt the baby by doing this, I promise. Drawing those muscles in towards each other, drawing the abdomen in. 2 more at your own pace. On the inhale, relaxing. On the exhale, full engagement. Really drawing that stomach in, belly in towards the spine. 1 more. really drawing those muscles in towards each other. Go ahead and relax. All right, so we're going to dissect this into two parts. So let's go ahead and do some pelvic floor holds, and then we'll kind of bring it all together. So just for the next few minutes, don't worry too much about what we just did. So keeping the spine long, I'd like you to just relax your pelvic floor muscles and draw them in as much as you can. Draw and squeeze, hold, and relax. We're going to do this about 6 times. Draw in, squeeze, relax. Really focus here. Draw in as much as you can, squeeze, and relax. You can kind of use your hands if it helps you to stay focused. Draw in, squeeze, and relax. This is nothing that you can really see, but it's very powerful. Draw in, squeeze, relax. Go ahead and do one more. Draw in, squeeze as much as you can. Squeeze, hold it, squeeze, and relax. And I remember when I first started doing this kind of work, it was a little bit boring, but it's actually very interesting and very powerful to do consistently throughout your pregnancy. It's going to help like more than anything else for healthy delivery and recovery and all that kind of stuff. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to tie those two things together. So I'm always like reminding myself, on the inhale, you're relaxing. On the exhale, you're engaging. So let's go ahead and just dive in. So on the inhale, okay, start on inhale. Relax. And on the exhale, bringing those muscles together, drawing the pelvic floor in. And relax. So inhale. Do about 5 at your own pace. On the exhale, drawing everything in towards the spine. Relax. Really squeeze the pelvic floor in, drawing those muscles in. The exhale, relax. On the inhale, relax, Drawing everything in on the exhale. Do 2 more at your own pace. This takes a lot of concentration to do it right. Squeeze as much as you can as you exhale. Do 1 more. Squeeze as much as you can. And relax. Definitely takes some practice to really tune in and get that mind-body connection and feel like you're doing it right. So I'm going to kind of alternate between these pelvic floor exercises and stretching just to kind of give us a mental break, because it does require a good bit of concentration. Not that stretching doesn't, but go ahead and just coming into Baddha Konasana, you can bring the soles of your feet together. If you want a deeper stretch, bring the heels closer into the pelvic floor. If your knees are high up or you just want an easier stretch, go ahead and just scoot your heels away from the pelvic floor as much as you need to. Feeling rooted through our sit bones, go ahead and lengthen through your spine and grab hold of your knees. And just hinging at the hips, not collapsing forward. I'm going to hold this for 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds. This is another just great thing that you can do in your second trimester. And go ahead and tuck the chin in, keeping the spine long. If you want a deeper stretch, just hinge at the hips a little bit more, really lengthen from your sit bones. Kind of scan from right to left and see if one hip feels tighter, One hip usually is a little tighter. About 10 more seconds. Really relaxing into this deep hip stretch. Two more breaths. And slowly coming out, you can bring the knees up. All right, so let's go ahead and come into tabletop position. And this is a great place for me to explain healthy habits versus bad habits. So as we progress in our pregnancy, our belly wants to kind of pooch out, obviously, and our low back tends to overarch. We have that sway back. So what I'd like you to get in the habit of doing is really, I want you to scoop the pelvis, so drawing the tailbone in and draw the abdominals in towards the rib cage. And I want you to really draw those pelvic floor muscles in at the same time. And we're gonna hold this for about 5 seconds at a time. Go ahead and squeeze those pelvic floor muscles, keeping that tabletop position. And relax. Keep those lower abdominals engaged by scooping the pelvis. Squeeze as much as you can. About 5 seconds. And relax. Let's just take a minute. So I don't want anybody to be hunchback. So you really want to imagine just a perfect straight tabletop. That's what your goal is. So go ahead and reposition, just scooping the pelvis, feeling that relief in the low back, drawing the abdominals in. Go ahead and let's do a few more holds. So just drawing the pelvic floor muscles in, squeeze as much as you can, and release. Lower abdominals staying engaged the whole time in this healthy tabletop position. Draw the pelvic floor muscles in. Hold. Relax. And one last hold a little bit longer. Go ahead and draw those pelvic floor muscles in. Just really squeeze as much as you can. Neutral spine. Scooped pelvis. Hold it. Another few seconds. Squeeze as much as you can. Nice job. And just a little rest in child's pose, bringing the big toes close together, knees wider than hip distance apart. Just rest the head and a few breaths here. Just a little break. Letting the abdomen soften and just taking a few breaths. Let's all come onto our back. So if you're worried about being on your back in your second trimester, usually less than like 5 minutes is pretty healthy. It depends on what you're doing, but listen to your own body. If you feel any sort of pain in your abdomen, definitely kind of stop and fast forward to what's next. But you should be just fine. So coming into bridge pose, make sure that your toes are lined up. I'll put this on the other side. So just make sure that you have your prop. I really like using a block. You can use a thick towel if you don't have a block. You don't need that just yet. All right, so make sure that you don't feel any tension in your low spine. You might need to scooch your butt away from your heels a little bit if you feel any sort of constriction in your low back. And just find whatever arm position is comfortable. And so without any effort, I'd like you to just plant your feet, rooting down without any effort in your spine, rather. So just start by rooting down through the tripods of your feet, below the big toe, below the little toe, and center of the heel. And I want you to stay really present in your feet. And we're going to engage these pelvic floor muscles in a really subtle way, but powerful way. So stay rooted through your feet and scoop your pelvis. You're going to go ahead and press your low back against the floor, scooping your pelvis in, drawing the tailbone in. Relax. And I want you to start to squeeze these pelvic floor muscles as you do this. So go ahead and scoop your pelvis. Pressing your feet into the floor, draw your pelvic floor muscles in. And relax, neutral spine. We're going to do this about 6 times. So scoop the pelvis, press through your feet. Squeeze your pelvic floor muscles. Relax. Just move at your own pace, pressing through the feet as you scoop the pelvis, drawing everything in. And 3 more, just really giving it your full attention. Squeeze, pressing through your feet. One more. Hold it, keeping that pelvis scooped, pressing through your feet, drawing everything in. And just relax. Just take in a few breaths. Go ahead and grab your block or your whatever you're using as a prop. And I'd like you to just bring everything down close to your pelvic floor. And go ahead and walk your feet together so you're nice and snug against that block or whatever you're using. And we're going to start to engage the inner thighs a little bit more. So same thing, go ahead and press through your feet, scoop your pelvis and squeeze. I'm going to do this about 6 times, neutral spine, and squeeze. Really squeeze that block or towel. About 3 more. Press through your feet. Squeeze. Neutral spine. And 1 more. Go ahead and scoop your pelvis. Back is flat against the floor. Draw everything in. Squeeze. And release. Just a few breaths. So moving into full bridge, so rooting down through the feet. I want you to squeeze the block and scoop the pelvis to start. So engaging the glutes, engaging all these important muscles down here. Go ahead and lift the hips. Palms face up and just squeeze. We're going to hold this for about 15 seconds. Staying rooted through the feet, squeeze. Keep the pelvis in that scooped position. Tucking the tailbone in. Another few breaths here. And slowly release. And get rid of that block. And let's go ahead and roll to our side. Do a standing position. And go ahead and grab your prop. And coming into Tadasana, go ahead and just bring that block to where it was when we were on the floor. And so you're nice and snug against it. So Tadasana, rooting down through your feet, bringing the thighs back, the tailbone in, Already our core's totally engaged here. Go ahead and just rest your arms, rolling the shoulders back, and staying rooted through the tripods of the feet. I want you to draw those pelvic floor muscles in and hold for about 5 seconds. Hold it and release. And so just soften those knees. Sometimes when we squeeze our pelvic floor muscles, we can jam our knees back. So just keep that softness in your knees. We're going to do this 3 or 4 more times. So keeping that softness in your knees, I want you to draw your pelvic floor muscles in, tucking the tailbone in, keeping those lower abdominals engaged. Squeeze. Relax. Notice if your shoulders are starting to round. Just keep rolling your shoulders back. Draw the tailbone in and squeeze. Softness in the knees. Staying rooted through the feet. Relax. And one more, best one yet. Go ahead and drawing that tailbone in, squeeze, draw everything in. And hold this a little bit longer. Squeeze as much as you can, softness in the knees. Drawing the shoulders back. Strong core, strong, healthy core. And release. And can get rid of that prop and just shake it out a little bit. Great job today. That's all for our practice today. If you enjoyed today's video, you should check out our app Yoga Plus. There's some really great content on there, and I look forward to seeing you there.
Welcome to Yoga Plus. Courses available from pupil to yogi. Sort by yoga, fitness, and instructors. Create your own routines. Access the pose library. Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth, available on Google Play and the App Store.
Join us for 14 and 30-day programs, hour-long classes, and much more on our yoga app, Yoga Plus by Psyche Truth. It's free to download and features a variety of wellness content, including yoga, fitness, Pilates, guided meditations, and interviews with dozens of wellness experts.